Hey guys, this is John Dean coming at you from Nomad Happy Hour. Today we're here with Tony and Linda in Sedona, Arizona, doing another episode for Nomad Happy Hour. Thanks again for tuning in.
Are we ready with the
doggies?
Yep.
I hope so.
Alright guys, so like we said, we're here with Linda and Tony. Linda and Tony, where did you guys start off your guys' journey at when you guys first started? I think you kind of started out here on your own, right?
I did. Yeah.
And how was that being out on your own without your partner?
It was hard.
Really?
Especially being my first year out. It was extremely hard. I won't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good learning experience for me, though. He was too sick to travel, so he said, go, do what you got to do. So I did, and I have never regretted it, not once. I love it. Yeah.
I'm sure you've learned a lot when you were out here, especially by yourself. But you were also traveling with some friends, basically the group that we're here with now.
Yeah.
I'm sure without a lot of them, it would be difficult to be able to do some of the stuff that you would do to learn the RV life or learn the nomad life.
Exactly. They were the most helpful. I can't begin to tell you how helpful they were. That was probably the reason I stayed out as long as I did.
Because of the people that you met out here on the road.
Yes.
Did you meet them out on the road, or did you know some of them before you got out here? Or how did you meet up with the group that you're traveling with now?
I didn't know a soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed Pandemonium and Destination Open Road, Dave's RV Life, so many people. I really watched for a good 3 years before I got on the road.
Did you have this rig before you got out on the road?
No.
No.
My son gave me a 20-foot dog-nosed school bus.
He just gave it to you?
He gave it to me. Because, to make a long story short, before I got on the road, for 3 years, I spent at home doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally doing nothing but watching TV, watching YouTube channels. And it was a botched back surgery.
For yourself?
Correct.
Okay.
It was horrible. It was not a life I really wanted to live. So I started watching this, and I've always wanted to travel, always.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't think I could do it.
Did you grow up traveling?
Oh yeah, we used to camp all the time as kids. My mom and dad take us to Florida. All over the place.
Mm-hmm.
We really had a great upbringing that way, and that's something I never got to do as a young adult. I raised my children, and that was my life, which I am not complaining about. Love my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But my dream was to see, my bucket list, the main thing was to see the United States. All of it.
Let's touch on the bucket list a little bit. What have you knocked off since you've been out here?
Wow. The very main thing that I knocked off was seeing the Pacific Ocean.
You've never seen it until now?
Not once. I've seen pictures, I've seen movies, all kinds of things about the Pacific Ocean. I wanted to dip my toes in the Pacific Ocean. And I did. And I cried.
Because you've never been to the Pacific Ocean, where did you start off at? Like, where are you originally from that you weren't able to go see, let's say, the Pacific Ocean?
Upstate New York, Long Lake, New York, little hick town.
Okay.
I was born and raised in upstate New York. Raised our kids in Canada. I married a Canadian, retired in Florida, and the rest is history. But like most families, normal upbringing, but didn't get to the West Coast at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all. So we went to Florida. We went all up and down the East Coast. We traveled up and down the East Coast, but nothing further than that west at all.
Yeah.
So that was a main thing for me. I really wanted to see the whole United States.
I think within that, what you're saying, there's a little hidden message to tell people to get out there and do this before.
Absolutely.
Before you get
My age?
to the point. Well, I was gonna say is to the point where you can't enjoy it. Not, you guys are enjoying it now, but imagine if you would have started earlier.
Yes.
Imagine, let's say, early 20s or mid 20s or 30s or whatever. And got out here and been able to have 10, 15, 20 years out on the road.
Exactly.
Compared to, I don't know, how many years have you been out on the road now?
This is my second year. This is Tony's almost finished his first year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And within the first year of being out here, what have you experienced, especially because, Linda was out here by herself. I'm sure calling back, asking you, what should I do in this situation?
Always.
Should I come home? Should I give up? Should I come back?
And he not once discouraged me. Not once. He always said, it'll work out. I promise you. Do not give up. Because he knew if I gave up, that'd be it.
It's an amazing partner to send, your other half out by themselves. A lot of people would not be able to do that whatsoever.
He did.
Well, I did. Yeah.
He's like, get out of here. Let's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit home and hopefully enjoyed yourself too while you were at home.
He wasn't well. He wasn't well, and we got him all fixed up last year so he could do this and enjoy this.
And you've enjoyed your moments out here together.
Yeah, I love to travel and see everything. Yeah, it's very nice. You don't realize how big the country is until you start driving it.
This is true.
Right.
Right.
How big it is, how different elevations there are, how many different places there are to see and go, and
It's crazy. Yeah.
and even the different people in this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like going back to the older days where people helped each other, lived together.
Right.
Exactly.
We're there to actually trust in each other.
Yep.
Not this world now where it's like the main thing that comes to mind is like being at my grandparents' house and the neighbors would just walk in. And nowadays, people come knock on your door and people are getting a gun out. Or, who's at the door? Did you order something?
Right.
Did you, whatever?
Right.
It's like, where did that go?
And many people live right next to somebody for 30 years. I met somebody out here like that.
And don't even know their neighbor.
He didn't even know his neighbor. And I said, my goodness. I grew up in a very small town. Of course, we knew everybody. And I always thought, I can't wait to get out of this town. But now when we go back, it's great. It's wonderful. But being out here with like-minded people, that's amazing. There's nothing like it.
No, and to share your experiences with those like-minded people, take from what they've learned also and put it towards what you're learning. Maybe different places to go see, different setups to use, different solar systems, different whatever it is. Just because they've already been out here, and you don't have to go through those trial and error stages, by yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's much more fun with my husband. It is much more fun, and I said to him, you gotta come, it's so much nicer. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a wonderful experience by myself, but when you have a husband back home, it's so much more. It's like, I wish he could see this, I wish he would come with me. And finally, we got him out here.
It's great.
I'm here.
Well, I'm glad to met both of you together. I mean, it would have been a different adventure to meet Linda all by on her own, but then to meet both of you together is double the pleasure.
Exactly. Well, we're glad to meet you too.
Well, yeah.
Thank you. You said that you went traveling, you know, growing up as a child.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I mean, we weren't a well-to-do family. We didn't take trips to England. We didn't take trips out west, but we were always doing things together as a family. Yeah,
Did you do the same with your children?
as much as we could. We took them camping a lot. We did. We took them camping a lot, and they loved it. You know, there's a place called Wasaga Beach in Canada because that's where I raised my kids.
Well, there's a thing
Canadian.
too with there's a thing where people hear New York and they don't think that there's places to camp. You know, in upstate New York, there's tons of places. You know, it's not just the city dwelling. I've touched on this in a previous episode with a guy named Mike that lived in upstate New York also, and he's like, yeah, he grew up there and never stepped a day in his life in New York City.
Correct.
Because that's what people think is, you know, they hear
Yeah.
New York and they hear New York City.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's, you
I've
know,
been to
there's
New
a lot
York
of
City, but growing up, I want to say maybe at the most 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, we were in the sticks, back in the hills.
So are your children out there possibly, you know, doing the same thing, traveling now also?
I have 4 children. The oldest has stayed right in the same area
Mm-hmm.
since where they were raised. My second boy is out with his family and they travel. He's the one that got me started.
He's the one that gave you the flat nose. And
The dog nose.
or dog nose. That's
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And
It-
he went, he gave me this bus, then he turned around, bought another bus, gave that to another buddy. Then they bought an RV. Well, they have been traveling in their Class C for 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
few years. And then he bought another bus and he gave that away. And his RV, the bus that he has now,
Mhm.
I helped him, well, we did. We helped him build that out. So that's what he's living in now with his wife and my 2 grandchildren. And the RV he did have, again, he gave it to a needy gentleman that needed someplace to stay.
What a kind-hearted son you have to
Very.
be able to do something like that.
We're very close, and he has always been my rock that way. I called him the first time I bought that. When I first bought this, I got locked out. Locked in. I got locked in.
Wait, locked in?
I got locked in. The 2 front tires blew
Uh-huh.
the very first 3 days I owned this. And I tried to get out because I didn't know what was going on. And I called him right away. I said, I can't get out of the bus. What am I going to do? So he called around all these different places for me for a garage that will come out and at least
help you out on the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's not the only time. This poor kid has been called so many times last year. And he's always been there for me. Always.
Has he ever had to like come out and save you, or does he, you know, always find kind of the help for you in the local areas of where you're at?
He and I and his wife, we traveled a little while together for a bit, not for too long, but I don't remember a time. I hope he doesn't watch this because if he goes, yes, you do remember. Well, I don't remember.
Remember when I came out that one time and saved you from
It's
the
possible.
something?
It's possible that he did. At this moment, I can't remember, but I'll tell you, he has always said to me, on your phone, you have where you can share your location.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good idea to
this
do that.
day, he still has our location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually do the same thing with my mom, not really for my sake per se, but for her sake.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of times where I'm out in the middle of somewhere where she can't get a hold of me.
Right.
You know, we don't have service every single place that we go.
Right.
So she'll be watching, you know, the GPS location.
Right.
And either she sees me moving and she's like, oh, he's off on another place.
It's very comforting to a mom.
But then it's like, I've also got the phone call of, I haven't seen your spot move in multiple days. What are you doing? Where are you at? I can't. You know, so it can backfire a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, he is so busy but he still always calls me at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. He will call. If we're always texting, he's always sending pictures of the kids, and I get to actually go and meet my newest granddaughter in 10 days, I think.
That's awesome.
I can't wait.
How old is she?
She's a newborn.
Okay.
Let me see. She was born, oh help, December. I have to look at my phone. I have 5 grandchildren. And the last 2 granddaughters were born so close together, I have to look.
Do you get them mixed up?
Always.
But a newborn, we'll say. So
Yeah,
it's...
she's about 3 or 4 months old now.
My mom just had that same situation because my brother just had the first grandchild for my mom, and it took her up until the baby was 6 to 8 months old before she even saw the baby,
Right.
because she's in Florida,
Yeah.
and he's in California,
Correct.
and of course with the whole COVID thing going on and the traveling
Yes.
and being what is it where you have to be put into an area for 7 weeks. Quarantined, right.
Right.
So all that time for her to be separated and, from going from Florida to California and then be quarantined for another week, it gets expensive staying in places, and just waiting for a whole week to be able to go see who you're really there to be able to see.
Exactly. And that becomes a problem for me because the border to Canada is still closed because of the virus. And I have a granddaughter I haven't even seen yet either. And she was born December 10th. I hope she isn't watching this.
Oh, they'll be watching.
I know.
You know they will.
I know. And forgive me because I'm not sure. But either way, it's going to be a while before I can see her. And she's already 5 or 6 months old now.
Luckily enough, and I know it's not the same, but with the whole video chats and stuff like that nowadays, you guys get to see the grandchildren.
Yes.
But it's not the same to grab them and hold them and
Correct.
be with them.
That's what's so hard about my children are spread all over the country. I have a daughter that lives in Canada part-time and Florida part-time. And it's hard. And my youngest is full-time in Canada. She doesn't travel back and forth, so it's hard.
Have you heard of any news about it opening anytime soon?
No, matter of fact, they had an outbreak, so it looks like they're getting more strict.
Like who had Canada in general had an outbreak, or?
Yes, and so they've gone right back to quarantining and I think
shutting down places here and there.
Yeah. Again, they said there was going to be 3 or 4 waves, but apparently that's happening. So it'll be a while yet before I can
get up there to see them or have them come to you to see you guys.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your children and your family are totally back you guys up of being out here in the lifestyle. What did your friends think when you first told them? I'm guessing you guys probably sold everything or moved out of an apartment or whatever and moved into this lifestyle. I'm sure some of those friends were like, "You guys are crazy. You're nuts.
You'll never do it. You'll never be able to do it.
You won't make it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You'll be back in a week."
Right.
Actually, my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, he passed away just this past November, and he said the same thing. He goes, "You won't even get out of Florida before you're calling Tony and telling him that come and get me."
Come and get me.
Didn't happen.
No.
But my sisters, I had one sister that was, "Oh, go for it. I think that's awesome." And they're thinking of doing the same thing on a part-time basis. But definitely had friends that said, "Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, you never make it.
Right?
Yep, see you in a month or two.
Yeah. And it didn't happen.
No. So when they said to you, you know, you guys aren't going to make it, what would you say to them back? And, you know, yeah, right, you know, I'll be out there. And now what do they say? Do they, you know, congratulations, or are they still saying, you know,
Yeah.
you'll be back soon, or
Now they say, congratulations, we didn't think you could do it.
you
Yeah.
guys are living an amazing life, we want to be
Yeah.
out there and doing it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they want to try it out, yeah.
yeah. We've had a lot of the friends tell us, you know, how do you do that? You know, how do you go to places that you don't pay fortune for campsites and all this stuff? Boondocking.
They're asking us, you know, they're asking us what we use. Like,
Yeah.
we're just starting to get solar now.
Yes.
And they're asking us about that question, you know, like as if we know a lot about it, because we don't really.
Not really, but we do have a lot of people.
That's probably one of the number one complications out here, I think, is learning the whole solar
Yeah.
Right.
setups.
Right.
Speaking of complications, what has been some of the bigger complications that you've had being out here on the road?
For him, the altitude. He's living with COPD and emphysema.
Mm-hmm.
So the altitude for Tony is a big deal. I don't think we have, the only thing I don't like, and it doesn't even concern us as much as it is about people who are camped with us,
Mm-hmm.
is not wanting to turn the generator on because it's going to disturb people.
Right.
That I have a big issue with. I don't like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, you know, you have to charge things up that our little 250 watt panel just isn't cutting it. So, yeah, once in a while we have to charge things up. And I'd rather be really well away from people when I do it.
Right.
Because out here it's peaceful. It's tranquil. And when you hear this,
Mhm.
you know, then it becomes.
Yeah.
It-
I think the whole, you know, first thing in the morning and last at night, those are the times where people like to have, you know, their quiet.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of people that go, let's say, out for hikes or bike rides, or maybe even go into town for errands or even a job. So in the middle of the day, I would tell people is the best time to
Right.
run generators.
Right.
And when you guys took off yesterday, was it yesterday?
They ran out and just started that sucker up.
Yep, that's
it run
when I
all
say,
day.
now's the time. Everybody's gone. Do it.
We've had people yell at us and say, "Hey, get some solar."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we don't have all that stuff
Hey,
yet.
pay for my solar.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
should tell them.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is it. That, you know, I see these rigs with all done up and all that. So we have 1,000 watts of solar on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not all connected yet.
Right.
Because we live on a pension like most retired couples, and so we can only do bits and pieces at a time. So we have our batteries, pardon me, we have our panels, but that's the hardest thing is explain to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, we're living the dream and we love it. Yes, we do need solar, but when you're living on a pension, you live on a fixed income, you get what you can every month until it's finalized. And this summer, we're going back east to Speculator, New York, to have a gentleman complete our solar. So
Mhm.
by this summer, we will have solar, the complete solar.
Can you, for the people that are over in the East Coast area or even anywhere else, can you happen to tell everybody who that person is in New York that does solar installs?
Sure. His name is Mike, Navigation Nowhere.
Navigation Nowhere. So if anybody is looking for solar over on the East Coast, look for Mike, Navigation Nowhere. He can help you guys with your guys' solar problems, or even putting in new solar systems in your rigs on the East Coast, or even, I'm sure, anywhere else, you know.
He traveled to Florida just last month to help someone build out his bus.
That's awesome.
And yeah, this guy's amazing. He's amazing. So yes, definitely this guy knows his stuff.
But he does get pretty busy though. So
Mhm.
He's very
because
busy.
he's already built out 3 of his own buses,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's almost done the small one, the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just putting all the cabinets in and the sinks and everything that he needs.
But
So-
there's a lot of people out here that are more than willing to help people who want solar to do that, to help them install it, or if you find an electrician friend, they'll wire you up.
And it's not even the solar, like we were mentioning before, is there's many people out here that are willing to help each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
all you gotta do is open your mouth and ask.
Yeah.
Because if you, like for me, for instance, I like people to kind of leave me alone until I ask for assistance, kind of thing.
All right.
So, nobody knows if you need help until you ask.
Right.
Last year, before Tony was with me, my bus broke down right in the middle of pumping gas, and the whole group that I was traveling with, they all stopped until we figured out what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them. I couldn't get over
Yeah,
that.
they waited. Yeah.
That touched my heart more than anything. I said, you know what? This is amazing.
We have family members in this lifestyle that can be anywhere.
Right.
And even if we can't be there physically for each other, we all reach out to each other. And I never thought I would say this, but luckily enough with social media, we can stay in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost a lot easier than
Yeah.
a phone call.
Yep.
Because we're seeing each other's daily travels, daily stories, seeing what we're up to, our goods, our bads, our ups and downs.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people out here.
Oh yeah. And it from all walks of life too. It's amazing. You have vets, you've got retired, it's just amazing how many people come from all these different walks of life and all gather together and see traveling exactly the same way you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
It's also neat too to
eye-opening.
pull into, let's say you're at one campsite for 2 weeks and you meet all these people, and then you're gone for a month and you pull into another campsite and there's 1 or maybe 5 people that you know from other
Right.
campsites that you've stayed at.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So you're just meeting up with people and bouncing off of each other to keep going.
Right.
We did that. We went into Winslow this week because I had never seen Standing on the Corner, so I had to go see that.
Mhm.
That's the tourist in me.
I
But
think we're going there after here also to see the same thing.
Are you really?
Yeah.
well, we left there and we went up into the mountains a bit to camp at some more BLM land up there.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't we run into a gal that we hadn't seen in a couple of months? And all of a sudden, there she is. We parked in her spot while she was away.
It's almost
We didn't
it's
even know.
comforting.
It is.
Yeah.
Very.
Because you're not pulling in and you're not being like, oh, we're in another spot by ourselves.
Right.
Even though we do, we have.
I like going out
Fun
by
to be
ourselves,
ourselves.
but I really enjoy traveling with a group. I like that.
I think it was a 24-hour period until you were gone, and then you came back.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
But I think it was those damn spiders that ran you off from the campground.
I don't do
Yeah.
tarantulas. Even
Yeah, they're big.
even just the name is so nasty. No,
Mhm.
no, I don't do spiders. Mm-mm.
There are some people out there that don't know, but there are tarantulas, there are spiders, there's scorpions, there's snakes, there's all these things out in the desert that don't come out until certain times of the year,
Right.
and we forget about them.
Right.
You know-
It didn't even dawn on me
Mm-hmm.
until I saw
Until
one.
you saw it.
Right. Yeah.
Ah, I'm good. Yep.
And then you
Time
guys
to go.
you guys literally turned the keys and pulled
Mhm.
out.
Yeah. But that is one good thing. If you don't like your neighbors, you can move.
Right.
Even tarantulas.
Even hairy ones that come out of the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Yuck.
That's right.
So since you've been out on the road, what would you say would be a ideal spot that you've been to that you would either go back to or never go back to? Because there's, people want to know of good places and places not to go see.
Senator's Wash.
Very nice.
Is a good one?
Yeah.
So far this year, that has been my most favorite place. I love
Yep.
it there.
Been a good
And why?
It's a lake. It's no highway traffic. It takes what? How many miles is it back in there? About 4 miles.
4 or 5 miles.
Yeah. And not great roads either.
No.
So if you're adventurous, you want to go there.
Mhm.
But it's beautiful. It's.
I think that's actually where we met with Senator's Wash. Because that was after.
No, we were at Craigie for your birthday.
Oh yeah.
Because
That's
after Schoolie Palooza,
Because you guys weren't at Schoolie very long.
No, we weren't.
Mm-mm.
No. And then we met up again at Craigie.
Craigie Wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went down into Senators.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Senator's Wash is definitely a beautiful spot.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
that was my first spot that I've been on that I was, 5-10 yards away from waterline. And you guys were even closer than I
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
Matter
yeah.
of fact,
The water rose there.
Yeah.
the day we left, that was almost touching our carpet, our
Mhm.
grass area that we put out. Yeah.
Go to bed and the water's
Talk about
20, 30 feet away.
It came in
And you
fast.
wake up and it's touching your tires.
yeah, beachfront property is right.
It came in fast. Yes, I did.
And I have to say, being out at Aja's property has got to be the most
Beautiful.
tranquil,
It is.
relaxing place.
Yeah.
I loved it there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to go back. It's awesome.
You guys will be back for the party?
Oh,
The big party? For Aja's birthday?
I want to be. It depends on how long we have to be upstate New York
Mhm.
to get the solar done.
Right.
But it would be nice to come back for her party.
That's a hell of a trek, though.
It sure
To
is.
go from here,
Yeah.
back to New York, or upstate New York.
Yeah.
And then back to Arizona by September, because
Right.
I think it's the end of September is her
Yes.
birthday.
Hmm. So yeah, it's something to shoot for. We hope to be
Mhm.
back by then, because I keep missing her birthday. I've only been to one, and that was the first year I was out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'd be nice.
What was that feeling that you feel at her property? That makes it so, comforting,
Peace.
peaceful.
Felt like we're home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
kind of.
did. It felt like home.
Yeah.
It felt peaceful,
Yes.
and just sitting around the campfire at night. It's just very relaxing.
Yeah.
Very relaxing.
It was also my first time of being there, so I can relate on the same feeling that you get. It was like we drove 4 miles off the main highway
Mhm.
Right?
down these literally bumpy ass,
Horrible.
horrible
Horrible
roads.
road.
Yeah.
Some of them I felt like I was gonna lose my rig in some of the potholes.
I told her for her birthday that we all should get together and pave that
or
darn
at least
road.
get a grader out there or something.
Yeah.
To
Oh, it's something else.
The grader would help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we pull up to her driveway
Oh.
and it's lava rocked from
Yeah.
her property,
Yeah.
which is probably half a mile
Yeah.
to the main area in it, and it's rocked and lit up.
It's all
like
lit
a
up.
damn airport.
That's what they said.
Solar
Is
lights,
this,
yeah.
That's what I said to Tony when we were. I said, "Looks like a bloody runway."
Mm-hmm.
We were traveling because we got there at night, so all the lights were all lit up on that driveway all the way
Right.
in. And the next morning, I woke up and I went, "Look at this," because we couldn't see all of it till
Right.
the next morning. And it, I can't believe the trees and all the work that she had done there. And she made it home.
Right.
A lot
She
of,
made it
lot of
home.
work. Yes.
It's just something
It
else.
looks nice.
And she even has all these other plans for it, and not to.
Yeah,
Give
don't
away
put them out
anything.
there. Those
I'm
are
not
her
gonna-
secrets.
I'm not going to give anything away, but it's so perfect. It is so beautiful. Sit around in the morning, coffee, and
Mhm.
no dust flying all over because of
Because of the rock that
how
she put down.
it. Yeah,
The lava rock, or
Yeah.
what do they call it? Cinders. Here.
cinders. Yeah,
Which when I thought of cinders, I thought of like railroad ties.
I did that
Yeah.
too.
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna be driving down cinders, quote unquote railroad ties.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be good.
This
This isn't gonna be good at
Right.
all.
no.
A lava rock is good though. You get a lot of it around, and you can even buy lava rock for your barbecue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put it
So
in there. So
So if you need it for the barbecue, just pull it off the ground, throw it in
well, the
there.
bigger ones be better.
yeah, I'm thinking she might not appreciate that.
Yeah.
The other cool thing too there is that, you know, it isn't just her property. I mean, it is her property, but then surrounding it, you know, there's friends that have property
Yeah.
next door, and
Sure.
and on the other side, I think there's 3
Bruce.
adjoining properties.
Yeah. And
Within a 40-acre
and then
area.
Sue, yeah.
Yeah, you got Bruce on one side, and then Ed and Sue
Sue.
on the other side,
Yeah.
and they're both welcoming as much as Aja is.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels like there's
Yep.
40 acres, which I think all of it together is
Yeah.
right around 40 acres.
Yeah.
Right.
But it feels like it's just open 40 acres for everybody to just to go and enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
And she has made that very clear. You're welcome anytime.
Told her after we were here, because we were seeing those hot air balloons,
Yes.
I was like, yeah, you should get a hot air balloon for the property.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will stay on the ground and film it.
There you go.
Yep.
We got our own personal filmer.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the rig that you guys are traveling in. Usually I kind of, talk about this at the beginning, but we kind of, got flowing, so that was good. A lot of people walk up to your guys' rig and look at it and think it's like a 60s rig.
Yeah.
Can you tell me exactly what it is, make and model, year, and then we'll explain to everybody what it looks like on the outside also.
It's a 1992 Fleetwood Flare.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got it, it was beige color with stripes, and there was all cracked and peeling off.
Basic RV
Yep.
looking.
All beige.
Old.
Yeah.
It looked a lot
90s.
older than it was.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So we
It was a mess.
we sanded it all down and painted it to 2 different colors, like back in the '60s old cars.
Mm-hmm.
Color like the Blue Lagoon, and then Cloud 9 white on the top part. Yes, and it has a good motor in it. I think it's a 454 engine
Mm-hmm.
with low mileage, 60,000 miles on it.
Well, that is pretty low for
Yeah.
for the year it is.
And it's
Yeah.
a good motor. It's got some power, because when you guys were talking about her son
Mm-hmm.
helping out, and she's calling him all the time. Well, we pushed him up two hills in the Adirondacks because his accelerator rod
Kept breaking.
broke off. Well, I guess the bolt or whatever it was broke off for the accelerator rod, and he couldn't climb a hill.
Mm-hmm.
He was stuck at the top of a hill. So we pushed him all the way up with this. He's got a 40-foot school bus, the one that they're living in now, and we pushed him up that hill. And we got, I don't know how many miles down the highway, and it went again. So we had to push him up another hill.
I forgot about that. And the only thing that happened to our rig is it just got a little bit of black marks on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke his taillight.
And luckily enough, it's paint, so now you get to
Right.
just
Yeah,
paint
exactly.
over it again
Yeah.
and make it look fresh.
Yeah, so this here rig that weighs about 7,000 pounds, his was like 14,000.
Mm-hmm.
And this engine and this here Fleetwood Flare pushed our rig up that hill and his.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of power there,
Yeah.
And it
He says, "Mom, can you do it?" And I went, "Oh, I hope so."
Guess we're gonna find
We're
out.
gonna find out.
No problem.
It just pushed him right up
As
and
long
over.
as you have patience,
Yeah.
it's just gonna truck along and
A little bit at a
push-
time.
It's like a tank.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried at first because his bus is all steel,
Mm-hmm.
big back bumper, all steel.
Mhm.
This is fiberglass.
And I thought, oh.
So I thought if we start
no.
pushing him up there and the rig's bouncing a little bit, we're gonna crash or smash all our
front end, and it didn't
Mhm.
do a thing. It didn't
Nope.
crack anything. It just
It
pushed
acted more like rubber,
Mhm.
because it didn't crack or break or nothing. We were very lucky.
It's like the newer cars that are basically like plasticware.
Yeah,
Right.
yes,
Right.
that's right.
But no, it did the job, and we have done so much on the outside. We repainted the whole thing. On the inside, it's still a work in progress, but
a lot of
I've
work inside here too.
yeah, we've painted everything in here.
We got rid of all the brown cupboards and all the brown wood.
Do you guys have future plans for more stuff on the inside to be changing, or?
Yes, a little bit. I do need more storage. So we're going to add to the top of that area up there above the seats. Bring that
put
out
in some
another
more.
6 or 8 inches around. And it's amazing how much room you can actually achieve by doing that. So we're gonna try to do that. We already did the floors, but I'm thinking definitely once the solar is in, definitely we're going to probably get a new stove that's electric. I don't like propane. I've never liked propane. But for now, it's very comfortable. It's home.
Yeah, those the flush mount countertop electric stoves. I think they have like a 2 or 3 burner one. I've heard that they don't draw a lot of power at all.
Okay. Well, we haven't shopped for them yet, but
the only thing with that is, I don't think that they have electric ovens. Like if you got a full on, I guess if you went with like an RV electric propane split kind of oven, you'd be able to have a stovetop and an oven together.
okay. Because I haven't really looked for them. I haven't done any research.
Now once
or
we get
anything
all
yet.
the solar and everything all set up, we know how much watts we got to play with.
Right.
You know, so we got to kind of divide it in between the different things we run. But we're not going to be running everything all at once, obviously. But you know, so
Oh, it's not just that. I mean, I'm not a cook to begin with, so I'll leave that up to
can you
Terry.
tell how skinny
and
I am?
Oh,
You starving this guy?
He eats well. He eats well.
I think every time we go out to eat, he orders the largest thing on the menu, and he ends up eating it all.
Yep, I do. When I get hungry, I can eat a lot.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But so that is probably one of the things I would like to change is the oven, the stove. It's old, and the oven doesn't even work. Hasn't worked since I bought it.
Oh, well, that'll be an upgrade then, to have one at work.
Definitely, that would be good.
And then we got to find out why the fridge won't run on electric. So
Yeah.
something's wrong there.
Oh, okay.
It'll run on propane,
Mm-hmm.
and it has an electric plug outside when you open it up. And we just don't know why it doesn't run on electric yet, but it's got to be something simple.
It's a Dometic. I mean, it's a good make.
Yeah.
Right, it
No,
is.
I don't have a problem with it. Keeps everything cold. I have ice cubes
Hey,
for my
that
drinks.
works. I
Sometimes
was
it
gonna
keeps
say,
it.
that's lucky to have out in the desert is ice cubes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You
sometimes,
never...
sometimes it keeps everything a little bit too cold. If you're not watching the dial, it'll
Uh-huh.
freeze everything in there.
Well, looking back when I was traveling in the bus, and that was only partially built. I didn't even get it finished when I got on the road. I said, no, I'm done. I'm gone.
Would you just throw a bed and some storage in there and
Yeah.
say, I'm out?
My son had already made a huge queen or king bed in the back.
size,
It was
yeah.
huge.
big.
King
And it was
size
just
bed in a
me.
bus.
It was, yeah. But they have that now in their bus.
Mhm.
They love their big, huge king bed. So there was that in there. They had done the flooring, but it was not insulated. That was about it.
Mhm.
We built a little countertop, and I have to say, I don't know how I did it because I have a drink going all day long with ice. So I think I must have bought hundreds of bags of ice in a cooler. And then I bought a little tiny dorm fridge for it. And, but that was after I got solar too. So yeah, it was a challenge back then. But now I feel like we're in the lap of luxury here. Got
Moving on up.
moving on up.
To the east side.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's nice. It's nice. I like our little rig. My dream though has always been a Class C.
Really?
Always. Even before I started watching Aja.
Mhm.
It's always been a Class C. I even said, I want Panda.
I was gonna say, when we were at the property, I thought you were gonna drive away with Panda.
I want Panda. But
I think Panda's retired.
I know.
Yeah.
And she'll be good for visitors. Nice little place there.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually, We would like to finish getting this all renovated inside, and that's me anyway. He's very content here. He wouldn't, but a Class C would be more.
He's like, everything works. I'm happy.
Right.
I'm warm.
Right.
Yeah.
I got, food in the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
A shower and a toilet.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else can you ask for, right?
right.
A Class C.
A Class C.
Yeah.
In
The
time.
grass isn't greener on the other side always.
Oh, I know. I
Sometimes
know,
you get a drought and it turns brown.
yeah, but this being a high-profile vehicle, it's very difficult to drive in the wind.
Really?
Really difficult. I love it. You can see for miles. The great big huge window.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things I adored about this. Is to drive this is no problem at all, unless you've got 30 to 40 mile an hour winds and more. It was horrible when I drove this back east to be with him and get him well enough to join me. I passed through Mississippi and that wind was so bad that I had to pull over. I couldn't even keep it on the road. It shifts. I mean, it's...
Did you have to like pull over and rest for, wait for the winds to die down?
Oh, yeah.
And then keep going?
Yeah.
What I don't like about it though, this here, when they built this here, they didn't make the axle white long enough.
Right.
And the wheels are actually sitting in under the body, at least 10 inches on each side.
Wheelbase
And
is
so
way
the
too
wheels are
narrow.
here and the body's out here.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's
The stabilization, it seems like it would be
Yeah.
off a little bit.
so it'll rock more and stuff like that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah. It's poor
That's
design.
the only thing, but
I
other than
mean,
that, everyone's good and it's made us all the way Adirondacks and back up
and
here.
back
And
again.
yeah,
And
So-
then you guys will be in, New York soon.
Yeah, leaving
And
in
be traveling
the end of June.
back to this way after that. Oh,
Yeah.
at this point usually in the interview and in the podcast, I usually like to ask whoever's on to kind of give people an explanation of what to expect or any suggestions for new people that are coming out on the road. To-dos, to not to-dos, maybe some places to find some good information before they actually get out on the road, or anything that you would like to pass on to people that are new coming out into this lifestyle.
I'm sure that it has been said many, many times, but for me, this I should have done. And that was always, always, always have backup money. I don't care if it's... I don't know how much most people would need, but for us, you need to have that backup. If something happens, you're done. You're finished. There are a couple of times, and I was very ignorant to that fact. And I came out here with next to nothing. Don't do that. It's the worst thing. Don't do that. It's very scary. You need a savings, $2,000 to $5,000. I know it seems like a lot, but I'll tell you, it goes fast.
no,
If something starts happening with your rig and that money is not there, you sit.
Well, one breakdown could
sure.
wipe out $2,000 to $3,000 in a heartbeat.
Easy.
Yeah.
Between a tow, new parts.
Sure.
Just for an example, like I had a fuel pump go out on my old van. That's $1,000 just for a fuel pump.
Right.
So again, your savings could be wiped out real quick.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, they do say though the minimum you should have for backup is $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's what they say. But
If you can,
if you can,
yeah.
definitely
But-
do more.
$2,000 to $5,000, bare minimum. Bare minimum.
No, you're saying $2,000 to $5,000 over whatever your savings is $2,000 to $5,000 of just sitting money,
$2,000 to $5,000 emergency fund.
emergency fund, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. You can work with that,
Mm-hmm.
but anything less than $2,000, you're done. In my
Not
opinion.
gonna be wiped
I know.
out. Yeah,
Mhm.
easy.
I know. I experienced it.
Right.
So I definitely, that's the biggest advice I can give anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come out here broke.
I know a lot of people say is that, you know, you can do this lifestyle like $500 a month. And it's like, I know people that do this lifestyle like that, but they don't see very much. They don't move very much.
Correct.
They stay hidden back in the trees because they don't want to move very much, because they try to get out of, you know, the 14-day
Right.
areas where they're going to be
Sure.
Not caught, because, you know, we're not doing anything wrong, but just asked to leave.
And the problem with that is you're not living.
No, you're waiting
You
for the
might
first
as
of the
well.
month to get
Yeah.
that check.
But at that point, you might as well stay in a little apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
Well, even the gas money would run out. $500 ain't a lot when you're paying for gas, so you ain't gonna go very far, right?
Mm-mm.
Right. So really,
Gas, food,
Yeah.
sure.
medical bills,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, whatever
Right.
anybody has.
Right.
Everybody has. Luckily, some people out there don't have bills, but, you know,
Right.
a lot of us do, and a
Sure.
majority of us do.
Mhm.
Well, of course. I mean, to live, you're going to have your normal everyday expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that alone, you really need a backup. I don't know any other way to say it.
Well, it's nice to go out and do things,
Mhm.
you know. I guess splurge a little bit. You know,
Sure.
some people think you're living this lifestyle, you probably don't have any money, you shouldn't be doing the things that you're doing, you know, going on hot air balloon rides, or going, you know, to see some of the museums that we go to, or going out to eat, or, you know, any of those things. But just like anybody else, you know, if you have the funds to do it, do it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
even
It doesn't matter if you're living this lifestyle or a
sticks and
normal
bricks.
sticks and bricks
Right.
lifestyle.
But the thing is, there's a lot of things you can do out here that do not cost a lot of money too,
Mm-mm.
though. We just went to
The Montezuma well,
Montezuma
and that one was
Castle and the
free.
well.
yeah,
And
they're free.
what a beautiful, wonderful time we had. It was
Mhm.
great. And thanks to Marcia's pass. But I think it was only like $7 or $15.
Yeah, you know, it was like $7 a person to get in, which isn't very much. But I mean, yeah, if you,
you
do
can
it,
blow that on ice cream.
Yeah.
So save it
right.
and go see the Montezuma Castle. But
Either you see a castle for the day, or you have an ice cream cone.
Right.
Whatever your choice is, it's
but
yours.
Yeah.
but the thing is, that is your choice.
Mhm.
And for almost everybody I've met out here, they choose to do it. It's
Mhm.
not that they're forced to. We weren't forced to.
Mhm.
We choose to do this lifestyle because we love it.
That is a good thing to point on, though, is a lot of people think that people living in this lifestyle are forced
Mm-hmm.
into this lifestyle.
Right.
And that, I don't want to go as far as like homeless, but, you know, like are poor, are pushed out of a home or a relationship or something like that. But exactly like you said, is a lot of us do this because it's our choice to do this.
Right.
It's awesome.
And the people that live in sticks and bricks, that's your choice to do that.
Right.
Sure.
A lot more people are starting to do this too, because they're realizing, you know, it's like freedom. You can go wherever you want, when you want. You're in your house all the time.
You know, there's a negative and a positive side to everything, right?
Sure there is.
And people look at, and I doubt you think that I'm going this way with this conversation, but is people look at this whole COVID thing as a negative thing. And you were just pointing on is that more and more people are doing this lifestyle.
Yeah.
If COVID would not have came around to push people out of their homes, basically, to be able to go out and do this lifestyle, more and more people would not know about this lifestyle.
I think you're right.
It's possible, yeah.
Because people are getting bored.
The
They're sitting at home
sales
doing
of-
nothing.
Even the sales of the RVs skyrocketed last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Skyrocketed. So you're talking a lot of people that are bored out of their minds.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen when
Well,
you
'cause-
retire in a sticks
Because
and bricks?
campgrounds were closed, ski resorts were closed, lake resorts were closed.
Right.
All this stuff that people go do on the weekends,
Yeah.
Right?
you know, in their free time is closed.
Right.
So what do? They go out and buy an RV and they drive out in the middle of the wilderness and do it themselves.
Correct.
Finally.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our way of life every day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because we meet people out here that are on vacation, or we'll meet people out here that come through the winter months, but then go back home in the summer, or vice versa, and they have their regular 9-to-5 jobs. If I hadn't literally been forced to stop working as a groomer, a dog groomer, I wouldn't have been here. So really, thank God that happened, I guess, because I don't have any regrets, none.
Well, you can't, because the things that people say that they regret on have got them to the point where they're at.
Right.
And a lot of times the reason why people regret the things that they do is because they're in a negative state of mind.
Right.
They're in a negative state of their life.
Right.
Until they get past that and go into something else that's positive, then they won't be wishing that they would never have done what they did.
That's pretty deep, John. But true, very true.
It is.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
I mean, some of us have gotten into more trouble, or have done,
Not you.
Not me.
No.
Right. A few times getting pulled over, but it's just those things, like I said, push us to where we need to be now.
Sure.
Right.
If I wouldn't have gotten in trouble in my life, like I've had 2 DUIs in my life, and if I wouldn't have gotten in trouble in my life, I would not have been here. I would not have moved out of a little cornfield town. I'd probably be still there.
Yeah.
Working probably a union job, married to the same, lady, having kids, having multiple cars, being in debt, all that
up
stuff
to
that people.
eyeballs.
Oh yeah, up to your eyeballs.
I've been there. I know.
I've sent the message out numerous of times on the podcast and on this show and whatnot, but don't get yourself into that big of a debt.
Right.
Even if you have, a lot of people are like, I have kids, I can't do this life. No, you have kids, go do this life. Show them this life.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I love about my son doing that. I've got 2 grandchildren that have been around Alaska, all over the place.
Yeah.
Not just the States. This little man has been everywhere. And now his little sister is going to be doing the same.
Yeah.
So, take your children, do this, show them what's out there. It's nothing.
It's an amazing life.
It is.
People come, they go, and we see them again down the road.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes unexpectedly, you pull in someplace, and hey, I know that.
Hey, I
Sometimes
know you.
even the people that we don't want to see, we end up seeing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true,
But like I said
but
before,
we have wheels.
We have wheels. We can move. You don't like the neighborhood, you can move.
Yep.
That's
A different view.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even that. We pulled into here, and you guys couldn't find a level spot in 3 different spots.
Right.
But it's as easy enough as moving an inch forward, moving a foot backwards,
Right.
moving to the left, moving to the right.
Or go up on your levelers and
go up
be
on
done
your
with
levelers. And some people, they dig holes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse
Sure.
leveler.
Yeah.
I never really thought
As
about
senators, Scotty and Terry did that.
it.
Dig a hole so you're nice and level,
Yeah,
and there you
exactly,
are.
yeah.
Right.
All good.
Do you guys do any social media? Like, meaning YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any of that kind of stuff that you guys would like to put out there for your guys' stuff? Your YouTube page or your Facebook page for people to follow that?
Yes, we are Legacy Venture RV on YouTube.
And what kind of YouTube do you guys do? What kind of information, videos?
Travel vlog.
Yeah.
Just about
help show people where we are and,
our lifestyle, our life on the road.
Nice places around.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of other YouTubes out there, guys, but if you guys want to see more and more travels from Linda and Tony, head over to Legacy Ventures and watch their YouTube. Go ahead.
Legacy Venture RV.
There you go. Legacy Venture RV. Follow them on YouTube. Watch their adventures. Watch their travels. You'll probably end up seeing me in some of them, and some of the other people that travel with us. But they're all, great information. Each person has a different niche, different passage that comes through their videos. So head on over and check out their videos for more travel information.